In life, though, homie.
Oh, that's funny.
Let's talk about your hidden fears, shall we?
Hidden fear. What about the ones that aren't so hidden?
No, we want to go to the id, homie. We want the stuff that's buried. We don't want that surface stuff. We want the stuff that nobody knows. Only the Ace Michaels show gets your id. Hey, oh, we rolling? Get the id out of there.
Do you want me to look into that camera at all, or do you want me to just?
Sometimes it's fun, like
Okay.
just turn to it and address them. But
Yeah.
mostly, this is what it is. This is where we're at right here. Exactly. This is our love zone right here. You know exactly what this is. I don't need to tell you. You're a pro at this. So first off, before I intro the show, so I'm very impressed with your work, although I don't know that much about it. I've just, like, you're literally one of those people that the few pieces I've seen, I'm like, damn, that's dope. And then it's all I've seen is just those few pieces. So tell me a little bit more about the general scope of what you do, because you're doing a lot.
I do a lot of stuff.
You're a script supervisor?
Not a script supervisor.
Okay. Script doctor?
I can script doctor.
Okay.
My specialty in script doctoring is the paranormal and the occult,
Okay.
and religious.
I'm picking you guys up. Guys, quiet on the set.
Settle!
Oh my God.
So that's settle.
Okay, I gotta see if we gotta buy new microphones now. Holy crap! What? Okay, no. Okay, so let's go back. I'm gonna ask you a question
Sure,
again,
yeah.
like a professional.
Yeah.
So, Kristin, you're a script doctor.
So I do script doctoring, and I also do script development. It's kind of part of the job when you're producing is to do that. So in script doctoring, most of what I've been asked to do is, I guess, enhance horror film scripts for paranormal and occult accuracy and religious practices accuracy. It's kind of what I geek out on.
Tatiana, you're talking too loud. Oh my God.
Quiet on the set, please! I also took the training plan exam to be a second AD.
Okay, yeah, apparently. Let's wipe it clean. Let's start the show. Okay, just please speak softly, and we love you just the same. Hey man, what's up? It's the Ace Micheals Show, brought to you live in living color in 3 dimensions. And it's on the internet, but it's not nasty. So you can watch it in your office with the volume up. That's what's up. And if you ever want to be on the show, you can. We'd love to have you. Our email address is beyondthebuzz@yahoo.com. And we have a new email address for those who don't want to use the old one. I know how it is. You want the new stuff. You can email us at blastpopmedia@yahoo.com. And that's how you get on. We even have a third email. I just realized for you true players, you can email us at acemichaelshow@yahoo.com. And that's what's up with that. Be on the show. That way you can voice your opinions, suggestions, convictions, beliefs, ideas, understandings, revelations. You can talk about all that stuff and more here on the show. Today, my guest is Kristin West. She is many, many things in the many, many big show business. So she is writing, producing, she's acting, she's probably dancing on the side. You know what I'm saying? She's doing it all. So welcome to the show, Kristin West. Welcome again to the show. This is the first time we've done an interview in person, though, right?
No,
Yeah.
it's the second time I've been to your studio in Vegas.
Oh, yeah!
I
Okay,
came
good.
out for Action on Film 2 years ago, and
Right.
we caught up there, and then the first time was a phone
2
interview.
years ago.
Yep.
What am I doing, dog? 2 years?
You're doing
have
great.
passed by? 2 years. Woo. Well, it's good to have you in the LA studio.
It's exciting to have you here in LA.
It's fun. It's fun, right? Mm-hmm. Right? It is. I noticed when I come to LA, all my LA friends are in the entertainment business, and they're all struggling, but they're living it. They're loving it. That's just a regular thing in LA, huh? It's people are just struggling. You're struggling all the time.
You know, you have to really work hard, and sometimes you work hard for a very small reward. You know, I was telling someone the other day that I may put in 30, 40, 50 hours on a show and not necessarily make minimum wage
Right. Right.
You know, because we haven't gotten all the sponsorship or everything lined up. Sometimes you put in a lot of work and a lot of sweat equity into your dream before you hit what they call big time.
Right. And that's just a reality of it because, you know, you're not going to get paid what you're worth. Even when you get paid finally what you are worth, it's way more than what you're worth. So there's like no middle ground in LA. Like there's no one, like if you go to Vegas, for example, there are people who are cocktail waitresses and they also do a little real estate on the side or something like that. And they're making a medium average amount of money. They might be even making a lot for medium. But there's not people in Las Vegas that are making $5 million a movie, like some actors in Hollywood make that or more. But in Hollywood, there's just not a lot of middle. You either have made it or you're not making it. There's not a lot of people, I mean, I don't think, there's not a lot of people in the middle where they're like, yeah, you know, I make $100,000 a year as an actor, and I'm good with that. No, you're either not really doing so well and trying to get there, or you have surpassed.
There is a group of working actors that you just don't know their names though either. Like they're genre actors, or they're, you know, you've seen them on TV, and it's that person that you look on TV and you're like, I've seen that guy before somewhere, but I can't remember his name or what I've seen him on. But it's true, you really struggle to create a life and a living for yourself in this particular career, and it's an expensive career to pursue as well.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. Because none of the toys are cheap, you know. So if you decide that you want to be a cinematographer, God bless you, $4,000 cameras, $5,000 lenses, and that's not including the stuff that's even better than what you can afford that you rent for the day. And even though it's just for the day, you're still spending $2,000 or something like that to rent. I mean, it's a lot of money going out the window, right?
Yeah, and well, a lot of people don't realize what's considered low budget filmmaking nowadays. You said $5 million. This actor's
Right.
making $5 million. That's considered.
And she's a filmmaker. She's
Yeah.
like, $5 million?
Well, $5 million is considered
I
a
can't
low
make no
budget
movie
film.
for $5 million.
Well, you can. Listen, you can make a movie for $100,000, and you can make a movie for $100 million. It just, you have to tamper down your expectations of what's going to happen
Right.
there.
But Kristin, where are these people with this money? Like, how is it that you're making a movie for who's giving you $100,000 to make a movie? If I had $100,000, I want to save some children or something. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna make a movie.
You know, some people are they use films as an investment product, like you invest in gold, or you invest in a stock market, or you invest in a painting, you invest in there was a Da Vinci that sold for like millions of dollars. It was a record-breaking auction for a Da Vinci. Some people invest in movies as an investment venture. And so, or some people are just born with, a rich uncle or a rich aunt, or a great grandmother who left them some money, and they go out and make a movie with it. So
I like your speaking voice.
thank you.
I just was, as I was listening to you, I was like halfway being lulled into like a passive state, and then the other half of me was like getting aroused. I was confused which feeling I was having. But your voice is great. Do you do voiceovers with your voice? You got a great voice.
Yes, I do, Ace. I
You
do
do,
voiceovers all the
And
time.
then you made it weird. See what I'm saying? it could have just been you know what I'm saying? It could have been a nice thing over dinner to talk about, but you turned it into like that thing. That's that thing you do.
Oh,
Okay,
darling.
I see.
Don't hold it against me, darling, please.
So you do voiceovers too?
Yes, I do voiceovers. Actually, right now, I am narrating a documentary called George Hobbs, Stick Figure Wisdom. It's a new production that Armin Nasseri and I are working on about an American artist named George Hobbs. And I'll be narrating that. We haven't gotten into the booth for that, but I've narrated some spots, and I've done a little bit of commercial work and voiceover as well.
So now your career is awesome. We don't just want to talk about your career though. That would be a real like letdown for the audience if all we talked about is what you're doing professionally. So let's talk about you personally, because we want to get to know you, right? So getting to know you, where are you from?
I'm originally from Texas.
See, that's what I'm saying. People, it's entertainment, but edutainment wrapped into one. It's like entertainment. That's what I'm saying. You guys didn't know that. So she's from Texas, right? Okay, so
So
you're
I'm-
from Texas. That makes sense now.
So I'm from this very small town called Poteet, Texas,
Too small for me.
20 miles south of San Antonio. And in 2017, we actually celebrated the 100th anniversary of my family being in Poteet. We moved there in 1917.
Why? Really?
Yeah, the Texas Historical
That's
Commission.
what you do with $100,000, right?
No, it was very modest. I promise. But the Texas Historical Commission came and acknowledged our family's contribution to the city of Poteet and the grounds there, and yeah.
That's cray. But that's where you're from. So you have a big family there, or like a medium family? Are you part of a family?
I am totally a part of a family. I'm an only child of an only child, so I don't have any brothers or sisters. My mother's an only child, and I grew up with my mother and my grandparents pretty much. My mom's a single mom.
That must be cool, kind of. So here's you and your mom in Texas, little Kristin, swinging on the white picket fence. She's like, Mama, I want to go to L.A. and make movies. And Mama's like, girl, she's taking like the back of this wooden spoon. Girl, get off that picket fence and get in here and do your hair pigtails right now. Leave that pig alone. Right? Is
Well,
it
I didn't
kinda
have
like
a white
that?
picket fence. I actually had a
Okay.
rock fence.
Good enough.
Yep, I had a rock fence. Actually, the house that my great-grandparents built was one stone that was in on their farm that they dynamited and brought into town on mule-drawn pallets.
Wow.
So it's a rock house and a rock fence. So not quite a white picket fence, but the spirit of the white
The
picket
spirit,
fence.
and you were swinging on it.
No, I was
No.
kind of walking on it. It has a little sort of turreted little system. So I would walk along it when I was a kid. It was about this high. And as terms of my mother, she's always been very supportive of me. She is a classically trained musician.
Oh, wow.
She's one of San Antonio's most popular wedding singers, actually.
Really?
She's probably played at least 350 weddings.
At least,
At
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm
least.
sure there's a lot of weddings.
A lot of weddings. So she's always been supportive of my career in the arts, and she was very nervous about me moving out of our small town to come here, but after I went to the University of Texas at Austin and I survived that,
Right.
one of America's largest
If you made it through that, yeah.
one of America's largest public universities, she's like, okay, you can go now.
Was she a stage mom?
Not really. Not as much as other people. She was always concerned. She was, I don't know about that one-act play costume they gave you. I want to get you a better costume.
Okay.
But she always asked me, even when I was a teenager, if I was comfortable with her maybe saying something to the director. And I would tell her yes, or I would tell her no. And she was always very aware of
interesting.
what kind of impact that would have. So I really appreciate that about my mom.
What do you think was her thing? Was she looking out for what kind of protection was she offering to talk to the director? Like, was she afraid you were going to be exploited by people, or?
No, I think she just wanted me to be as fabulous as possible.
Okay.
My mother is a Leo. She is a grand personality. She has a big heart, and I think she just had that sort of propensity towards wanting me to shine as maximally as possible.
Okay.
On my own as much as possible as well. It wasn't really a concern for me. We grew up in a small town. Everybody knows each other. I never really felt like there was a director creeping on me because they were all my teachers.
Okay.
It was a very small place.
And so then, so then you leave that small place and you come to this monster where there's 7 million people trying to do the same thing you're trying to do. How was that?
Hard. I can tell you that, and I don't really talk about this much with people.
Thank you. That's what I do.
That's what Ace does. But I was in an acting school here in LA, and they told me I had no talent and that I should be a set designer or move back home.
I love this. I don't listen. I don't love it for you. Sorry that happened to you. But I love these stories. Like, somebody told me that a casting director once told, I don't know, like Alanis Morissette or somebody like that. Like, you're never going to make it in this business. Just give it up. I mean, why do you even try? And it's like, really? Why do you try to be a casting director? You're never going to cast anything major. Why do you even try? You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
what is this capacity for other humans to tell people they're not going to be successful at stuff? What is that? Where does that come from?
Well, everyone has an opinion,
Well, sure, but not.
but they're as common as assholes.
Right.
Everyone has
Even
one of
more
those
so.
too.
Right.
Right. But here's the thing: is you also have to have a sort of a filter, and know what's a valid opinion coming from a heartfelt place of concern, versus what's an opinion that's based on someone's baggage or someone else's pain that they're trying to put on you. And honestly, I'm kind of stubborn. I'm like, I literally moved 1,000 miles to be here. I've spent inordinate amounts of money getting settled here because it's not cheap to move here. You don't just like put your stuff down. And, apartments here are just crazy. Don't even get me started. But I was just dogged. I was like, you know what? I will be the boss of my career and what I'm going to do. And you have to stick with it, though. Some people, 2 or 3 years, they're out. They don't meet their timeline.
right.
They're gone.
In the book of Famous Last Words, the general manager of the Grand Ole Opry, where Elvis Presley played one of his first big week-long, engagements. First off, after the first of the week-long engagement nights, he fired Elvis.
Jeez.
And he pulled Elvis aside and he said, quote, "Boy, you ain't going nowhere." And so there you go.
That's a big, giant Southern FU.
Right.
When you're getting called boy like that.
"Boy, you ain't going nowhere," were the words that he said to Elvis. And needless to say, Elvis kept it moving. And that's what you got to do sometimes. You got to keep it moving.
No, and you have to remember your why. You have to remember why you're here, what you're doing here. Or else you kind of get stuck in the glamour of it. There's a spiritual concept in yoga and Eastern philosophy called Maya, which translates to illusion. There's a lot of illusion here. People are not always doing as well as they say they are.
Sure.
Things are, we trade an illusion here. We
Sure.
make, you believe that space aliens are coming. Well, we haven't seen space aliens yet. Everything
Right,
here is
right.
somewhat based on illusion and an illusory reality. And we create illusions, and hopefully they make us happy.
Sure.
But you never know what sort of illusions people are up to, and delusions too.
Yeah, the delusions, I think, are more prominent than the illusions. It's interesting. I'm going to tell you a story, if may I?
Of
May I
course.
share? The best, most manipulative hustler I have ever met, and I have traveled, I didn't go to New York. I haven't gone to New York yet, but I've been to Miami, I've been to Denver, I've been in Nashville, I've been in Kansas City, I've been here, I've been in Vegas. There was a guy named Max when I first moved to LA. Homage to Max. And he was amazing. He was like, he'd be on the phone, which was, first off, that was a big deal because this was the 90s. Not everybody had a phone. So he'd be on the phone. "Elton, hey, baby, it's Max. Yeah. Hey, listen, would you like to meet an amazing young musician tonight that might be able to be part of what you're working on with the whole Quincy Jones thing? Yeah. Well, his name is Ace Micheals. He's a young guy. He just moved here. I know you don't normally, but listen, Ace, can you meet Elton tonight? Elton? Yeah, they're going to be out. Yeah, he's available if you cats want to see him, you want to hear him or something like that. Where y'all going to be, at the club? Okay. Now you're going to need some money because we're going to need to go to a club. Okay, yeah, you got a car, Ace? So it's like he was
Right.
always on the phone with somebody unattainable, like, "Hey, Diddy. Hey, buddy, how you doing?" And he was always doing this kind of stuff. And I was a young kid from Kansas City who had just come to L.A. I was blown away by all this. I was like, wow, what? So you need me to drive you down to a club and pay for you to get in so that we might meet Elton John? Oh, Elton just left 10 minutes before we got here, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, right? So the way this story ends is miraculous. So he kept talking about all this stuff, right? All this stuff was always so fictional and blah, blah, blah. So my friend and I, we finally felt like we got wind of it. Like, we know better now. We're not going to get fooled by him. The next time, we're going to call him. So he tells us he's doing an event for a big publicist, and this publicist is Elton John's publicist. And we like, okay, all right, this is where we're going to find out. Tells us it's her birthday party. So we're like, okay. So we go to the club with him. We get to the club, everybody knows Max. And it's amazing because we don't think that Max is legit at all. But everybody seems to know Max. And we go inside, and there's Elton John. And Elton John's publicist. And they're like, Max! And they all hands. And I was like, no way, this is for real. So this town, to go back to what you were saying, callback as we call it in comedy, this town is a magical place where things can just be the weirdest thing. A guy could be sleeping in his car, and tomorrow he's got a 5-picture deal.
Yeah.
It can happen here. It's really amazing.
Yeah, no, it's a very interesting environment to be in.
Right. So now, okay, so you're here. We still want to know more about you. We love your career, but we want to know more about you. So now you're here. You're doing your thing. What are the true challenges besides the casting director? Because they're always going to say that. They're always going to be negative. Besides that, like, what are the challenges? Did you have like a roommate steal your food or anything? Or like, what, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about hardships, man.
Well, there's a certain amount of time where you're busting your butt doing stuff, and you really need help. But you can't necessarily afford to get someone to do the work that you need them to do. So you're still doing all your social media. You're still, trying to shoot the show with 3 people instead of a 5-person crew. So it's always a budget concern. You're always trying to find money for what you want to do. You're trying to keep up with your peers and all of that. So that's one of the things. Of course, the apartment stuff. We have significant housing issues here in LA.
Yeah. And when did you decide that you wanted to do professionally what you're doing now? Like, I mean, you came here to be an actress. So when did you say, I'm going to write my own stuff, I'm going to produce my own stuff? Like,
I decided I wanted to professionally be an actress when I was about 17 years old. But I knew that my mother and my family would never just let me come out here 17 years old, from my little town of 2,500 people right smack dab into the second largest city in the United States.
right.
And I decided I wanted to get educated to become a producer so that I had more control. That, and I thought a radio, TV, film degree from the University of Texas, well, watching movies is a good thing.
Right.
So, I learned how to produce at the University of Texas, and my study abroad was actually here my junior year of college. So I actually came here about a year and a half before I moved to LA to sort of scout it out and make sure. So I was living off of Barham at what used to be the Oakwood Toluca Hills.
Oh, yeah.
Which is right down the street from the back lot of Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
And I would, part of my class was interning at Disney. So I would go to Disney and I would read scripts and I would write coverage and help out at the office there on the Disney lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, Kristin, even if you've only been doing this for 3 years, let's say, the world is a very different place for women in the show business 3 years prior than it used to be 30 years ago. I mean, the last 3 years, there's been some phenomenal changes in the way the entertainment business deals with women. So when you got here, I don't know when it was, but let's say it was longer than 3 years ago, were you thinking, I'll probably hit that glass ceiling, but that's okay? Like, I mean, how far can I really go as a woman? Or were you thinking, yeah, one day there's going to be more women directors, and one day there's going to be more women in positions where they're running studios, and one day, I mean, which one were you? Which person were you?
I was painfully oblivious, to be really honest, because I had always grown up believing that as long as I had the talent and the drive and the work ethic, I could do anything I wanted. Now, it's interesting because there was one person who, when I was in high school, gave me a copy of Entertainment Tonight. And it was an article about the casting couch. And he said to me, I want you to know about this before you go out there. I know you want to go out there. I know you want to pursue this, but I want you to read this to be sure. And it had all of this information and quotes from famous actresses. And this was, 15 years ago. This was not,
Right.
at the height of Me Too where we are now.
Right.
1 year in.
And we don't even know if we're at the height of Me Too, but that's the whole.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Harvey Weinstein was exposed about a year ago this time.
Right.
So 15 years ago, I'm getting this magazine from someone who really cared about me saying, are you sure you want to do this? And I read it and I was like, okay, I'll take that under advice and I'll just try and make smart decisions. Because I really felt
Right.
naively.
You felt you could rationalize with this beast.
Well, I felt in my heart of hearts, as long as I made good decisions, that everything would be okay.
Right.
And that's, and thankfully that has been most of my story. But I've not experienced harassment the way many actresses have. And I'm thankful that there's a better climate for women in the entertainment industry. I can tell you sometimes I've had stupid arguments with co-producers on projects and with people I've hired that I felt condescended to because I'm a woman.
Mm-hmm.
That's happened. But, one of the things you have to do is you have to surround yourself and work with good people and constantly strive towards working with good people. And people reveal their character rather quickly if you pay attention. But it is a great moment to be a woman in entertainment. One of the biggest challenges that we do have is that the pay gap is really, it's not just about actor pay and it's not just about producer pay, but it's also about capital investment in the entertainment industry. Most investors are men.
Right.
That's why you see a situation where more money is going to male directors and male producers is because men are just accustomed to doing business with other men and they're not necessarily taking that capital and risking it on women. And the dynamic would change, in my opinion, if we had more female-led investment in entertainment.
And that is what's up. We're going to come back another time and we're going to have an actual show about women's empowerment in the entertainment industry. So I want to bring Kristin back on that show, and I don't want to go into it too much now because it's going to be juicy. Hey, man, it's been the Ace Micheals Show. If you want to reach Kristin West on the www, how do you do that?
Yes, I'm on KristinWestBlog.com. That's my website. I'm also on Twitter @TheKristinWest and Facebook, Kristin West Actress, and also host Kristin West. And you can check me out this weekend. I'm going to be at the What Women Want conference in Atlanta talking about women's empowerment as well with my co-host Judy Goss.
That's what's up. And it's been the Ace Micheals Show. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you much for being attentive. Don't just join us and not pay attention. So thank you for that. And you know what I say at the end of every show, and I still mean it. Live the life you love. Love the life you live.